Centre. Rhiannon's just joined us there, front and centre of our image. Tell us more about what we've just seen.
Yeah, so this is a big moment for the King. Of course, it was announced on Friday that the doctors ultimately had given the green light to let him get on with the thing that he enjoys most, which is getting out and meeting larger numbers of people. We know that his late mother, the Queen, always said you have to be seen to be believed, but from the years that I've followed King Charles, there is, I think, no other member of the royal family who seems to enjoy more walkabouts, meeting people. So today he will no doubt be delighted that finally he's allowed to get back to some of those public-facing duties. Of course, it was at the start of February that he surprised us all by being so open and announcing his cancer diagnosis. We don't know what kind of cancer he has or what treatment he's been undergoing. It has been quite surprising. We have seen probably more of him than we expected, but it's always been smaller engagements, just one or two people within the palace, and we know that he's also wanted to carry on with those important constitutional duties. There's been no sense of handing over any of that to his son and heir. Today, of course, I think what we're seeing is him reinforcing how pleased he has been that his openness has had a huge impact on a huge number of cancer charities who've talked about the increase in people calling them, wanting to talk about their own diagnosis. And so today, I think both for him and also for Queen Camilla, it's going to be about emphasising the importance of early diagnosis, but also coming here to the University College Hospital and Macmillan Cancer Centre. The focus is really going to be also on the really innovative research that they carry out here, and the fact that they do all of the tests here, and then ultimately, when they know that research is going to be successful, the tests are rolled out right up and down the country. So yeah, a really big day for the King. And I think also, yeah, we sort of saw it coming that he was going to be allowed to meet large groups of people when he met well-wishers after the Easter service. But today, some confirmation, and I'd say some reassurance, really, that things are going well when it comes to his treatment, albeit there is a caveat still when it comes to future engagements. They will still continue to assess his health and won't want him to do anything that may impact his ongoing recovery.
And Rhiannon, we saw the King there for about 30 seconds or so, emerging from that car, then walking into, as you say, the University College Hospital building. We couldn't really hear what he had to say, if anything. What was that brief interaction like?
Yeah, I have to say he's always pretty good at interacting with a crowd, so I thought I'd chance my luck and shout a couple of questions. And he appreciates, look, we're all out here to see him. There is a bank of TV cameras. There are a huge number of photographers as well. Everyone wanting to have that moment, to have the time to capture those images of him here carrying out this visit. And that, I think, has been really important for him and the palace throughout this whole few months, is making sure that, look, the monarchy is seen, isn't it, as a symbol of stability and continuity for many people. And I think for him it's been really important that that messaging has been reinforced time and time again. Look, I am doing okay. He's clearly not been very well, but he is still able to carry on those constitutional duties. And for a man who we are regularly told is a workaholic, I suspect it's been very difficult. Of course, it's been not that long since he became king, and while he wanted to show that he was a continuity monarch in many ways, continuing the wonderful work of his mother, he's also wanted to continue to reinforce the work that he does around so many different social issues. And also, basically, the palace have been talking about how, in some ways, you now have another C added to that bank of work that he does. Already you have 4 Cs. You have the Commonwealth, you have culture, you have, and I'm going to completely go a blank now, climate, community, culture, and I can't remember the 4th one. But anyway, cancer is also now added to those important focuses for him when it comes to his charity work. And I think for him there's obviously been that now very personal experience that he's gone through, but I think he also today is going to be drawing attention to patients who also go through their own journey as well.
Rhiannon, for the moment in central London for us, thank you. Images there of the King and Queen visiting the University College Hospital, pointing and waving as they get out of the car. Let's show you these again. This has happened in the last 5 minutes or so, the King at his first public engagement since his cancer diagnosis earlier this year. Obviously, the King went public with that diagnosis and treatment plan, keen to spread that message with the public, to encourage others to talk about it and to also potentially get themselves checked and be aware of symptoms. He was initially hospitalised for treatment for an enlarged prostate, also sharing those details to encourage people to talk about the developments there. And we saw a huge surge in searches to the NHS website as a result. We can see here, for the first time this year, since that diagnosis, an official engagement. The King and Queen looking upbeat. They'll turn to the camera in a moment's time and will look back to the public. Rhiannon mentioned there that huge number of press. Here you are, the King about to smile and wave to people, the Queen Camilla by his side. She has obviously been a stalwart of the royal family whilst they've been enduring these two cancer diagnoses, both for the King and also for Catherine as well. Well, as they enter the building there, let's bring in the royal commentator Jenny Bond, who joins us live on Sky. Jenny, thank you so much for your time. Give us a sense of the significance and the poignance of today.
Yeah, it's very significant. And I think the King and Queen quite deliberately lingered there. You saw them lingering, looking at the cameras. They knew where the cameras were. They knew where the public were. They knew this was an important shot. And he looked very well, I thought, indeed. And I think this visit will be cathartic all round, because going to a cancer centre obviously has been deliberately chosen. They're going to meet sufferers of cancer, their fellow sufferers now. And I think having a diagnosis in your mid-70s, or at any stage, obviously, having a diagnosis of cancer is not only physically disabling, but mentally there must be a lot of anguish in his head about this. And it will be ongoing because, as everyone knows, the great fear with cancer is that it can always rear its ugly head again. So I think it will be great for him to discuss from his own experience what it's like to go through this with fellow sufferers. And I think using his platform in this way, as Rhiannon was saying, is really just what royalty is about. I mean, if you're a member of the royal family, there's only so much you can really do beyond using that platform to influence opinion, if you want, or campaigns, and in this case, charity, and it has had a great effect. And I think going back to work is something that his doctors are not only recommending, but very happy with, because I was listening to a very experienced oncologist the other day who said one of the best things you can do as you go through your treatment for cancer is try to get back to work. Don't sit around and mull about it, your own destiny and how unfair life is. Just get back and focusing on the things that mean a lot to you. And that is precisely what he's been champing at the bit to do. And now he is back in a, albeit somewhat limited way, but he is back, and it's good news.
You mentioned there, Jenny, about the King champing at the bit. I used to work on his estate when he was the Prince of Wales and had various interactions with him, also recipient of some of those much-fated black spider memos, as they're called, reference to his scrawling handwriting, generally done in a fountain pen. And there was always a sense from the King, as he was then Prince of Wales, that he's very engaged, very proactive. And that really stands testament to the fact that we've seen many reports that he's been desperate to get back to work.
You should be interviewing yourself. Never mind me, for goodness sake. Brilliant piece of news. Yes, I mean, he does like to get on with the job, and he has been longing to do that. And I don't think in all this we should forget Camilla. Perhaps you came across her a lot as well. Seeing her there at his side, I mean, she is the darling wife, as he always says, who has really come up to the front line on this and been holding the monarchy together, really. And I think she's thrived on it. She is looking brilliant. She seems to be enjoying her work so much. And she is his rock, because, as you will know, he can be prone to a little bit of melancholy, a little bit of self-pity. And who wouldn't pity themselves in this situation? But I think she has kept him absolutely grounded, focused and positive. And again, that's very important when you're battling cancer.
And Jenny, it's worth noting as well, isn't it, that the wider situation for the wider royal family as well, because upsettingly for them, this isn't the only cancer diagnosis in the family at the moment.
Yeah, and I think this relieves the pressure actually on Catherine and on William to an extent. I'm sure William would really prefer not to be taking on the royal duties he is doing at the moment. I think he'd just like to be with his kids and his wife, but he is coming back to public duties in a somewhat limited way. And I think Catherine probably has felt, well, I'm sure guilt is probably not the right word, but very sad. And she said as much, hasn't she, that she can't be fulfilling her duties because she is very passionate about her work. But she has said, we have heard her say from her own mouth, that she needs to concentrate on herself now and her health for the benefit of herself, for her children, for her husband, and for us. She is our future queen. So I think this will relieve the pressure on her, feeling she must hurry her recovery.
And Jenny, let's just remind people why we're talking about the King, announced as the new patron of Cancer Research UK, returning to public duties for the first time since diagnosed with cancer, taking over that patronage from his late mother. From a perspective of charities and organisations, what does it mean to them to have this relationship with such high-profile people, the royals, and in particular considering the King's own diagnosis?
Well, it's the perfect fit, isn't it? And you can't do better than have the King as your patron. As the royal family slims down, and after the death of our late Queen, those patronages are far more valuable and far more sought after because there are so few royals to go round. So it will obviously heighten the profile of Macmillan and of Cancer Research. And he is the ideal candidate for the job.
Jenny Bond joining us this morning live from Devon. We really appreciate your time, your insight as well into this situation. Following the developments, the King on his first official public engagement since that cancer diagnosis earlier this year. He's gone to the University College Hospital Macmillan Cancer Centre. We saw him enter alongside the Queen as well.
Back up a bit.